I'm really thinking I should have just bashed myself in the head with a hammer, because then I could actually perfectly embody Niece's insanity and idiocy all in one fell swoop. Let's read this bullshit. Final statement to Gage the Loudmouth. Anyone else want to bet there's going to be like 50 more of these, because I just happen to disagree with a lot of the shit that she's going to say here. Gage, go fuck off with your perverted mommy issues. I did not realize that saying I think your behavior is shitty and I don't appreciate you accusing people of random bullshit every other day is the same thing as someone approaching you with a sexual advance. I don't understand why it is that when someone says, I just think you behave in a shitty way towards people, and I don't find the way you treat people to be warranted in any circumstance, because 90% of it is you just accusing people of shit and then telling yourself it's true. And the other 10% are you just buying what people have told you, which you haven't even proven yourself. So you've basically been buying things without evidence or just jumped to conclusions. Either way, it's not good because you look ridiculous. There's a site called Fat Life. Sign up there and find someone to project your mommy issues there. Stop forcing it on women on YouTube, you creep! Again, calling you an idiot and saying that you're fucking nuts for accusing people of shit randomly almost every other day because you keep trying to attack this other crazy homeless woman. You're attacking this other crazy homeless chick, and then you're somehow trying to pretend that you're any bit better than this person when the reality is the both of you are fucking crazy psychotic lol cows. Except only one of you is actually amusing to watch in action just because of the massive amount of, I guess you can say, fallout they usually generate for themselves. And the other one is actually very, very sad to see because they keep filming every one of their day-to-day activities to the point to where it just becomes a sad game of just wondering what day in particular is going to be the day that Mary finally has enough of all the bullshit and actually disconnects. Another thing, I'm not forcing jack shit on anyone because me disagreeing with your behavior and finding what you do to be fucking nasty to people is not some sort of indication of sexual attraction. It's not. Like, I don't know who the fuck you've been in a relationship with before, niece, but when someone says, I think you're a fucking asshole for behaving this way towards people for no reason, that's not someone saying they'd like to sleep with you. That is an actual admonishment of your behavior and a condemnation of your behavior. That is not a sexual advance, nor is it any attempt at some sort of sexual liaison. That is someone simply saying, I just don't like what you did because I feel like it was unnecessary, and I feel like it was awfully shitty. That's it. That's all there is to that. There are no more layers than that. Another thing. I don't need to think about you in any way at all because, one, you're a very, very ugly woman. You are. You're not attractive at all, Bernice. You look like what would happen if Kane Hodder got smashed across the head with a fucking lead pipe until his skull was unrecognizable, and then they just dumped HRT into his body to the point to where his body just shriveled up, and he just looked like a blob, and then he chose to dye his hair a ridiculous color to try to emphasize his faux individuality. Because let's face it, niece, you're doing the kind of shit that people do when they're like 15, 16 years old in Hot Topic because you want to try to stand out to people. But you don't stand out in a good way because you're always the person screaming stupid shit at people hoping to get someone to lynch them. But no one does because when people look at evidence from both sides, the other people are the ones that always have the receipts and you're always the motherfucker just screaming shit hoping to get them lynched. Seriously, if you don't have evidence, then don't even bother. Guys, look how many alt accounts have your handle! I only have 3 accounts. Only 3. I have the Loudmouth Live, which is my streaming channel, like Loudmouth Archivist, which I actually need to start uploading. Honestly, I need to upload all the old videos that I think might be a little bit too volatile for YouTube onto the Archivist, because at least then they could be saved for posterity. And then you have my primary channel, which I actually put a lot of the main uploads on. That is not the same thing as me having hundreds and hundreds of fucking accounts, all with my name attached to them. I know that, like, for example, Gage the Jewish guy is not me. Gage the homo guy is not me. Like a bunch of these other names that have variations of my name are not mine. I only have 3. And if you actually go to when the accounts were made, you'll notice that a lot of the accounts that you think are mine are made like maybe a year ago, or are made as recently as 2 to 3 months ago, where all of my accounts are like almost 3 to 4 years old. So I don't want to hear about you did this, but then the reality is almost all of the accounts are old enough to prove that they are not mine. And those that are not mine will most likely not have a single upload on them, or they will not have a single tie to anyone at all that subscribes to me or someone that runs in my circle, as you should probably know. Comprehend you're fucking insufferable and people are fed up with you! Well, here's the thing, niece. The only people that seem to really respond negative to me are nonces, or people who associate with nonces, or people who tolerate the presence of nonces, or legitimate racists or homophobes. Like, the weird part is, niece, the only people that don't like me are people that are either completely out of their fucking minds because they're fucking pedophiles, or racists, or rape supporters, or whatever kind of horrible shit that a person should not support in a modern and enlightened world. And then you're sitting there by your fucking self, picking and choosing from that particular subsect of people, individuals that you feel could help prove your case, even if the individuals in question are some really unsavory people. I mean, that's the weird thing. You have no problem whatsoever with going after people, and you will gladly side with individuals that are actually more toxic and more volatile than the person you complain about, which I can't help but highlight is really fucking weird. Like, why is it that you don't care about associating with pedophiles, or actual neo-Nazis, but when I call you ugly on the internet and say that you're fucking stupid, you freak out and act like I'm somehow capable of doing anything that those guys did, or believe any of the things that those guys do. Like, why do you do that? Why do you turn a blind eye to what these people have said or done when it comes down to trying to do something to me about it? More importantly, niece, aren't you the one that threatened to give my information out to a bunch of pedophiles and shit on YouTube, hoping to get something done to me in real life? I do not want to hear jack shit about me saying mean words about you if you're the one actually threatening me with the possibility of harm to my family or myself. Shut up. I don't give a fuck who anyone is that you associate with. And I don't want to. Shut the fuck up, Gage. Well, why don't you fucking crazy Australian cow? You're the only motherfucker that goes out of their way to say that anyone that I associate with is automatically bad. You might as well just go up to people like Damien, for example, and start saying that they're pieces of shit because you choose to not like them, because they understand that I'm not nearly as bad as you want me to be. That's the thing, niece. You want me to be a bad person. You want me to be someone that's shitty and does horrible things. So you keep telling yourself that I am. That's all you do. You find excuses to call someone everything in the book, and when you can't prove it, you just simply sit there and say that they still fucking did it. I mean, how many times did you accuse me of being part of the anti-O's? When the reality was, I just simply agreed with a lot of the points some of those people brought forward when it comes to a lot of Greg's behavior and actions. That does not mean I agreed with every single course of action everyone took. But the thing is, though, you simp hard for Stevie Wolf, who I'm acquainted with. And even though you know Stevie was one of Greg's most frequent and vocal detractors, you at no point in time raised your voice against him. Why is that? Why do you play favorites when it comes to defending people from certain individuals, or you'll straight up try to steamroll other people? Like, I want to know. Like, why are you perfectly fine with trying to steamroll some people for one thing, but if someone else does the same thing they're doing and they happen to be someone that you look up to, you'll turn a blind eye to it? I mean, that's something I'd really like an actual fucking answer to. Not a, no, you! Guys, Lana, stop contacting creators offline, friends, and family. Guys, you weird little crap! Ray! Dear dumbass cow lady, I did not contact anyone's family, offline or online. The only person I'd ever spoken to is Jay. And the only thing I ever wanted to really know is what you were telling this person so I could offer evidence to the contrary or offer clarifications if they were necessary. It is not my fucking fault that both of you are out of your goddamn mind to the point where if anyone just simply says, hey, I'd like to offer more context in case this person is not telling you the full story. And you respond the way that someone does when they know they're about to be caught in a big-ass bunch of lies. They freak out and do everything that they can to try to shut down the person's ability to communicate. You keep saying that you don't care and that you're not scared of anyone, but whenever someone confronts you with facts that oppose your narrative, you automatically act as though they're sitting there in front of you, actually being dangerous. And for some reason you don't think that's a little bit weird, that you flee from people criticizing you. And then at the same time, you try to vilify them for doing so. That guy's limit. I don't like you, Gage. You don't have to. I've actually told everyone they don't have to like me or agree with me. But I still have a right to say what I want, as long as it's true. Or as long as it's true to the best of my knowledge. If you don't like it, that's perfectly fine, but that does not mean I am not able to say what I want to say. Especially when you're the one trying to smear people with Me Too level bullshit, while at the same time screeching at them like a fucking lunatic, demanding that they go away and disappear, while at the same time you speak about them when they no longer talk about you. The last time anyone spoke about you in a video of it or post in any kind was a month ago. The only time I've spoken to you, as of late, was recently in a rebuttal post where I straight up just told you to stop accusing me of random shit like a fucking retard. If you have a problem with me, supply some evidence or shut the fuck up. I don't understand why that's so hard for you. I know you're a crazy old biddy with no ovaries, with no eggs, and no hope of passing on any sort of lineage, but the least you could do, if you want to maintain some kind of record of your life, is to not do shit that openly makes everyone say, yeah, that's neat, she's a crazy bitch, she says a bunch of crazy shit all the time and no one believes her. I mean, honestly, you're fucking sad. You are fucking sad. And honestly, part of me does pity you because I realize you're gonna die alone, miserable in your flat with like 100 fucking cats. Because no human being worth their salt is gonna want to have someone like you in their life who's going to be a constant source of bullshit and problems because they're just going to start flying off the handle during random parts of their day. Like, honestly, you're the kind of person that would make someone else's social life difficult because you'd be the one constantly doing things that would involve them in bullshit, and then they'd constantly be stuck trying to apologize for people trying to clean up the mess you fucking made. I never will, Gage. Good. I've never tried to make anyone like me. It's just the fact that I wish you would actually prove what you say instead of just saying it to say it. Because it's just more empty words. Go outside, Gage. I have a full-time job. 4 days a week I'm out of the house for 10 hours a day, sometimes 12 to 14 if I feel like working some OT. Like, I don't get why it is you act like, well, you're never outside, proceeds to ignore the fact that you're the only motherfucker out of all the people. Like, here's the thing. Out of the 5 of us involved in this little situation, between you, Jay, Megby, Prof, and myself, the only person, at least by the looks of things, that has nothing to do with their life is you. Because you are constantly on YouTube, in your community tab, making post after 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 post about Adrastia. Doing the same shit that you claim she's doing towards other people. Except instead of begging for attention by being online in video format, you're doing it in your community tab trying to get this one's acknowledgement. Even people who you look up to, like Adonis Paul, have told you to shut the fuck up because they do not like you tainting their brand with your type of toxicity and in crazy bullshit. Even Harley, rest her soul, has at times told you to shut the fuck up because you're attacking people at random over nonsense that you have no evidence anyone did. And you can keep saying, well, the Kiwi Farms thread only used your name that you publicly fucking used in every single goddamn account that you've ever fucking made. You're so fucking stupid that you would link all of your accounts together, so whenever you do one of these little retarded episodes and scream at someone over nothing like you are here, you would basically be linked directly to your own Facebook page, where you would in turn be criticized, laughed at, and admonished by people because they realize that you're out of your fucking head. Genuinely no one did shit to you at all, and the people who have done it have no connection to Prof, Megby, or I. I don't get why the fuck it is that when people say, yeah, your behavior is shitty and I don't much care for the way you've acted, and you basically take that as like, what, like a threat of murder or some shit. Like, if I say, I don't like you and I think you're a shit person, are you gonna somehow translate that to a threat of violence or death? I mean, you seem to have a hard time processing information, so if I call you an ugly bitch, that somehow translates to someone wanting to fuck you, so me saying, I don't like your behavior because I find it to be nasty and really abhorrent, you're gonna somehow translate that to some sort of death threat because your brain's in fucking backwards. Get a hobby. I do have a hobby. I read, I write, I draw, I play video games, I do a bunch of shit for hobbies. And you have no right to say that anyone else needs a fucking hobby when you spend the majority of your goddamn time online doing what you're doing right fucking here to other people for reasons that you can't even justify without needing to fall back on disabling the comments. Seriously, do you want to know what would happen if the comments were enabled? I would just ask you for what the fuck you were talking about 99% of this shit. Another thing, niece, I don't need to know someone offline to see their, like, another thing. Let me just say this. You're the one that threw J.D. Arthur in front of you like a fucking shield. You threw them out in front of you to fight your battle for you. And when people just tried to calmly talk to them like fucking adults without doing anything at all that would elicit any sort of negative response, this person acted just like you did and freaked the fuck out. And when they spurred out and started going out of their way to paint people as stalkers, I was annoyed by that whole thing, so I just straight up responded saying, fuck you, that's not stalking, and I refuse to talk about you anymore at this point, because I don't want to. I feel like it's fucking stupid, so I'm not gonna. Like, even now, I don't really want to bring them into it, but they are part of the issue, even if it is just in a passing glance sort of way. But the fact is, you brought this person into the situation. Nobody walked up to them and dragged them into it. You threw them in front of yourself like a goddamn meat shield. Like there was a hostage negotiation that went wrong, and you were just trying to use them to get any sort of bullshit away from yourself. Fuck off. I did. For a whole month. And I didn't say shit about you. For a month. Like, at all. Until you decided to tag me like a fucking idiot. Leave me alone, Gage. I tried to, and this is what you did. No more attention for you, attention junkie. Aren't you the dumb bitch that's tagging the same person upwards of 50 times a fucking day, essentially trying to make them acknowledge you so you can get head pats from someone who finds you fucking annoying? I mean, let's be honest. Even the people who you look up to find you to be an irritable, insufferable asshole that they don't want to fucking be around. Like, even when Hatman and AP have told you to shut the fuck up and piss off and stop bothering everyone in their chat by constantly stirring up bullshit between everyone, you sit there saying, well, I don't know what I'm doing, and while at the same time you're looking at everyone else doing it. You're the kind of person that would knock something off the counter while making full eye contact with the person who owns the possession, just so you can sit there and say that they're an asshole for responding negatively to seeing what you just did. You do not have to like me whatsoever. I'm not trying to make you like me. I am just simply asking for evidence of the shit you accuse me of, instead of just saying that I did it and then just portraying yourself as the victim when I straight up say, well, that doesn't sound like proof when you just say you did it because I say you did. Another thing, Jay was only spoken to one time during that initial debacle, and then there was one rebuttal to what Jay said. After that, I haven't said shit to them. So I don't get why the fuck you act like, oh, he's around every corner. I saw him in Jay's dumpster. I saw him go into Jay's window at night like the boogeyman or a cat burglar. No, it's just the fact that I think you're a shit person. I don't like you, and I don't get why the fuck it is you keep trying to attach bullshit to me that I didn't do. It's one thing to dislike me and disagree with my courses of action when it comes to me talking about certain things the way that I do. And then there's just straight up you doing what you always do, where you fly off the handle, spurg out, and accuse people of random shit. Another thing, if you don't like me, that's fine, but don't lie about me. If you have a problem with me, just call me an asshole and move along with your fucking day. There doesn't need to be a bunch of, bullshit allegations. You don't need to try to Me Too someone every single time they say something mean about you, you crazy fucking cow. I mean, it's people like you that do make YouTube toxic as shit, because it's always the same mentally ill dumbass sitting in the corner screaming at everyone. Just do the world a favor. Take your medication, get off the internet for a little while, actually attend to your own mental health for a fucking change, instead of pretending to do it for a week, then coming back. And stop spurging the fuck out about stupid shit, for fuck's sake. Get a fucking job. Seriously, get a job. Make real friends. Go outside and do something with your life. Everyone else has friends, jobs, relationships, and hobbies. If you have none of those, then maybe you should think about your life and figure out what you could do to remedy that fucking problem. Stop blaming me for being an angry old cat lady.